Holy shit. Oh, about to get fucking blown up here. I'm out of here. Guy's got 3 shotguns at the back door. I'm out of here. So it's coming up. And here we are right here at this gem, 1632. Here's the house. Right in the middle of downtown Phoenix. So we're here at one of the newest acquisitions. I'm closing on this tomorrow. A standard rule of thumb, always go out to the home before it closes to walk through to make sure it's in the same condition as when you saw it when you put it under contract. You never know what's gonna happen in 30 days, 60 days, or even a week. Tenants move out, things could get screwed up, and at that point it would be the seller's responsibility or wholesaler, whoever the individuals who's selling you the home to remediate those issues that may have transpired. Today we're talking about ownership of homes like this. I would rather own, 10 of these than $1.5 million home. People ask why? Why would you want to deal with, a bunch of these homes that don't look, super sexy? Because this is about cash flow. We care about cash flow. If you own one home, for example, for $1 million, we're going to go up to one right now. And I'm certainly an advocate for buying, $1 million homes, for example, as long as you get the great spreads on those and you're buying way below market. But in terms of buy and hold, I'd much rather, again, own 10 of these than one of the $1 million homes, because the $1 million homes doesn't give you the same yield. The rental return typically in our market here in Arizona, you're going to get $800 to $1,000 per $100,000 of the first $100,000. As you get up more and more every $100,000, that's going to be diluted by a few $100. So for example, you buy a $100,000 house, you're going to get $800 to $1,000 in rent. You buy a $200,000 home, you're probably going to get maybe $1,500 or $1,600. You buy a $300,000, maybe you're going to get $1,800 to $2,000. So as you incrementally go up, it's an inverse relationship between price and rents. Okay, so if I buy $1.5 million home, maybe I get $6,000 or $7,000, a month potentially. Maybe it's only $5,000 versus 10 of these at $150,000 a pop. I'll get $15,000. So what would you rather have? $5,000 or $6,000 a month or $15,000 a month? That's the difference between $60,000 a year and $180,000 a year. Yes, you're dealing with a lot more variables in terms of owning 10 of these versus $1.5 million home. But what happens if that $1.5 million home, the tenant moves out or goes vacant? What do? You're missing $6,000 or $5,000 a month in terms of, rental income. If one of your tenants on a $150,000 home moves out, guess what? You're still gonna get $13,000 a month. So you're not gonna feel that pain as well. So having that diversification and having that cash flow come in on a monthly basis definitely enables you to continue to grow and run your business. Anybody, don't come in. Get out of the backyard. Knock on the door only. If I don't answer, be on your way. Real serious and simple art. Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Nah, the guy hasn't moved down. Well, we're in this house. We're gonna get in and out of here quickly. The guy's in the process of leaving everything, but the rooms are both vacant, which is good, I just saw. House isn't too bad. Let's get out of here quickly. But again, even in this current condition, I'll take 10 of these bad boys over $1.5 million home. AC is working great. Clearly needs a nice little remodel, but simple little job, ready to rock and roll. Holy shit. About to get blown up here. I'm out of here. Guy's got 3 shotguns at the back door. I'm out of here. I swear. 3 sitting right by the back door. So just went in the house. It's important to do the final walkthrough. I knocked. I was told the tenant's moving out, which they are. Both rooms are vacant. They got some stuff left in there. But when I went through that back door, I found 3 shotguns. And I'm not too comfortable. Guy could come out of the tub. Who knows? My health and my safety is much more important than doing my final walkthrough at this point. I could defer that till tomorrow, but I'll still take 10 of these over the $1 million home. This business is crazy, but you got to be cognizant of your safety. When I see shotguns at the back door, that means get the hell out of there and move on to the next deal. So in summation, a home like this, for example, in this neighborhood in today's market, you can get probably $1,200, $1,300, maybe even $1,400 a month in rent. This home will require some money to go into it, but it's not crazy. It's got a big, deep backyard, which people really appreciate. You're in a good location downtown. It's a very quiet neighborhood. There's some good stuff happening in the neighborhood. So again, I'm happy to own these types of houses all day. It's not sexy, but the cash flow is sexy, and that's what you have to look at. Okay guys, so we went out to my newest acquisition. You saw that little, I don't want to call it a box, but it's a lower income property. And we talk about owning 10 10 of those compared to one of these on a flip basis. So one of these on a flip basis, yes, you can make a lot of money on it when you flip. But in terms of holding this type of asset, which is under construction right now, let's call this a $1.5 million home. Maybe it rents for $6,000, maybe $7,000 at best. But it may take you a lot longer to procure or find that tenant versus it's so much easier. You have a lot more, a wider net of tenants that will pay you $1,400, $1,500 a month or $1,300 for that other, $150,000 home. So once again, you can take a home like this as a flip, but I certainly don't recommend it on a buy and hold. Some people are trying to look at these like Airbnbs, but you're spending so much money on the output side and investment side, and I don't believe you're gonna get that yield that you're gonna get by buying and be diversified with the lower income properties of the 150,000. So I literally was at my bank not too long ago, and I'm going in there and I'm depositing rent checks and whatnot, and a guy's bragging about he owns 3 homes in what's a fancy area called DC Ranch. He's like, life's good, I have 3 rentals, I'm bringing in $18,000 a month with my 3 properties. Those 3 properties are worth, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 million dollars. That's great. But at $10 million, for example, I could own 50 rentals, bringing in, $55,000, $60,000 a month in rental income. So again, you want to avoid what's sexy, and we care about what's about cash flow, especially on the buy and hold. Banks want to know how much cash flow you're bringing. If you're going to try and get more debt in the macro perspective, they want to know that you can afford to take on those payments to get more debt. That's super, super important. So again, it's all about cash flow. You want to buy stuff that's going to give you the highest yield. We spoke about every $100,000, I like to get $1,000 per 100,000 investing. Nowadays, it's getting a little bit harder to achieve that. So as long as you have equity in something, so for example, you can buy a home that's $180,000 and maybe you're getting $1,500 for rent, but the 180 is worth, let's call it $210, and you have that $30,000 back in equity. That's still a very good investment. Just because my rule of thumb is, $1,000 per 100,000, as long as there's back in equity, that's still a good investment. And that's the type of deal that I would still buy and hold for a year or two and then capitalize and cash out on that equity portion, and that's still going to give me my long-term yield. So you have to back up from everything, get rid of that sexy, the fancy cars and this and that, and focus on what you can derive good income on. What can you get good cash flow on? Again, to become bankable, they want to know how many assets you have and what's your income on those assets. Just because you walk in with $10 million worth of homes, maybe you're levered up the hill on debt on those and you think it's sexy. Oh, I own $3 million homes. But if you're only bringing in $18,000 a month in cash flow, that is not sexy. I can assure you that. Run the numbers at $18,000 a month, which is, $200 and some thousand dollars a year. That's not even giving you a great return on your investment. It's not fruitful for the longevity of that deal. So I can assure you that when you're bringing in, 10 rental properties, $1,200, $1,300 a month, that is sexy. Okay, especially on the back end equity. And don't forget, if I have this home and it's taking a while for construction and getting it ready, those are days on market that's, going with no income. It's just sitting there sedentary, and I'm putting that outflow of money to carry this property for a long time. That is not sexy. And then by the time I find that needle in a haystack tenant that wants to spend $6,000 or $7,000 a month, it's much harder to find that tenant than those tenants $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month. So this thing, there's a lot of outflow unless there's great back-end equity on a deal like this, which there could, of course. Don't get me wrong, I do deals like this, but only on the flip side. I do not want to hold these in my rental portfolio. Of course, if the market corrects and I'm forced to do so, then I'll do so. You always want to work on contingency planning. But at the end of the day, these types of homes are really meant for flipping or moving into. So stay focused. Don't be caught up in, the whole shiny object syndrome or the whole braggadocious of, oh, I own these fancy homes. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, you want to be bankable. You want to bring in that cash. You want to have that passive income. You want to do what you want to do when you want to do it and have that income coming in so you can see it on your phone, rocking and rolling. You could be on vacation. You could be at the gym. You could be anywhere you want. And your tenants, those multiple tenants, are supporting that lifestyle. That's called passive income. It's an annuity of income. It's income stream that comes in every month. That's what we're trying to build here, not having a big outflow or big headache and worry that we're not diversified and we put all our eggs in one basket. And it's okay to do these projects. Again, I don't recommend it for a beginning investor that you're just starting out, but if you've been in this business a long time and you have that annuity of income and that supports doing a larger flip like this, I'm all for it. I'm doing that myself right now because the market is supporting that. But if it's not supporting it, then of course, hey, stick to the lower income stuff. There's a lot less downside risk. They're much more rentable. And remember, we're casting the biggest net possible to capture, again, the most amount of people that can afford those rental properties, that can afford to pay that rent. A lot more diversified, a lot more structured, and it's certainly a lot less risk. And that's what we care about. We care about less risk, we care about cash flow, we care about bankability. Those are the factors that are super important when we're evaluating flip, hold, and what kind of money do we wanna, what type of assets do we wanna invest in? That's what's super important. Guys, once again, Zach here, 7-figure investor pro, Zack Ventures, turning trash to cash. When evaluating what type of properties to buy and hold, it's super important to, take sexiness out of the equation. It's like driving a fancy car or a Prius. We don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I care about, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable in the assets that I hold. And most importantly, I'm more comfortable with a larger amount of cash flow on the least sexy assets, if you will. So I'll take the $150,000, 10 $150,000 homes versus $1.5 million home any day of the week, including Saturday and Sunday. So if you found value in this, please like and subscribe to the channel, and plenty more great real estate lessons you'll find here. Thank you so much.